So a really important skill in terms of building dialogue and managing conflict is also, interestingly, your ability to say no and push back. And to say no and push back in a kind of win-win way, if you like. So that's a very highly practical skill. You can't be saying yes to everything. And there's a good way and a bad way of basically saying no to someone. And the bad way annoys them, and the good way actually they feel good about it. So how to say no and have people like you for it is a really nice skill to just perfect. So I'm gonna start by giving you the recommended approach to saying no and being liked for it, and I'll just lay out the approach and give you something you can go and use in real life, which I'll guarantee will get you a better response. Well, actually, there is one other thing that matters. The way in which you say it matters. People don't always remember actually what you said. They remember how you made them feel. So, of course, you're professional. You're always going to be respectful. And you kind of have a helpful attitude, right? You want to help. So when you have that sort of that mindset, that attitude, what follows, the way in which you say it is at least as important as what you say. So here's the recommended steps. So the first recommendation is to give a clear no. And it can be empathetic. I'm really sorry. I'm not able to commit to that right now. So the recommendation is to start with that and keep it short and be empathetic. That's okay. So no beating around the bush. I'd love to help you. I absolutely understand that that's a real challenge for you, and perhaps there are some things we could do to look at that. I don't know what they might be, and there may be different ways we can find some answers for you. Just say no. I'm sorry, I can't commit to that right now. Let me give you an example. A head of marketing in one of the banks here was interviewing somebody internally for a position in her team. And I think he must have given a good interview, because she phoned him up after the interview and she said, "Thank you so much for coming to see me the other day for an interview. It was a pleasure to meet you. I think we had a really great conversation. You said some fantastic examples of what you've been working on, and you're clearly excelling at what you do. You're doing a great job. I really, really enjoyed meeting you. And on this occasion, you haven't got the job. And I just want to say, you're obviously a fantastic person who's going to go far in the organization. And I really enjoyed our discussion. Thank you so much." And then she hung up the phone. And then 5 minutes later, the poor guy rang back and he said, "Sorry, did I get the job?" And so it's to actually say no. And a clear no is actually very valuable, is the suggestion. Now, okay, then it's very important to give reasons. So explain. There's a strong recommendation to use the word because. Because is a good influencing word. So I'm really sorry, I'm not able to commit to that right now because I have other priorities that I need to meet, or I have to focus on this right now. So reasons are definitely in the mix. That's one of the necessary steps, is to give reasons, and very clear reasons without waffling. Just say it like it is, kind of thing. Keep the reasons short. So I'm really sorry, we're not able to commit to that because we don't have the resources or the data we need to do that successfully. Give a genuine reason, and no long 10-minute explanations of why you can't do it. Long reasons detract from the power of the message. People feel you're sort of, if you give a really long explanation as to why no, people feel like you're trying to trick them somehow. Just a clean, honest, genuine reason, and then stop, right? It becomes less credible, strangely, when you over explain the reasons. So keep it short and simple, and then give alternatives. And the recommendation is 2 alternatives. Sometimes this is where the creativity comes in. You have to work a little bit on what are those alternatives. And one of them sometimes can be when you can do it, for example. What it would take to get to yes, that's particularly one of the alternatives. If you're really struggling with alternatives, sometimes a good alternative is to describe what it would take to get to yes. If you can do it later, then that's one of the alternatives too, right? So it can be very simple as well. Finally, you get them to agree to your no, gaining their commitment to the end. Test this. Never say, "Is that okay?" That's a closed question, and you risk a no. Always say, "How would that be?" or "What would be best for you?" My encouragement is to just round it off at the end with that open question. What's best for you? How would that be? What else can I help you with? A nice open question, because the open questions, you're then focused on what else or what next, because the no is in the bag then. You're not talking about the no anymore. So just watch out for closed questions like, "Is that okay?" is the worst thing you can say, because they might say no, and then you've got conflict handling on the agenda. Perfectly happy to have a discussion about what else might be possible. It's okay to talk about this. It's just having a chat really about what else they could do. So it gives them a chance to suggest other things or vent a little bit or whatever, and you can either empathize or explain why those things are not possible or whatever it is. So even sometimes, well, what else could work for you? and you're happy to be helpful and in that way because you're happy to have a conversation about, well, maybe you've got some great ideas about what else, and the no is in the bag. When you're talking about other options, the no is done. So getting commitment sometimes is getting them to focus on what else or what alternatives can work. So what else would be good? What else can work? How would that be? What's best for you? All those kind of questions are great. So once again, you clear no because two alternatives and get them to agree. Okay, those are the 4 recommended steps. Now, if they push back, which happens, right? So if you repeat the no, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. You can be as empathetic as you like. I'm really sorry. As much as we want to help, we can't meet that requirement right now. And then you give 2 other options, or you repeat maybe one of the alternatives, and you keep going. Usually twice is enough, interestingly, if you have to. That's my recommendation. Is and the nice thing about this is it's quick, right? And then just finishing off with that, what would be best for you, or what else could work, and then you have a discussion about that. I only had one other example in mind, which was the we want a discount. Some clients always ask for a discount. I used it only the other day, so I'm really sorry. I'm not able to offer a discount on the proposal because we've already given you the best possible price for what you're looking for. So keep it simple. And what I could do is I'd be happy to look at a few more. For me, it's training, right? So a few more runs of the program, and we could explore a volume-based discount with you, or I'd be happy to look at what I can take out to cut to fit the budget that you have. What would be best for you? So that's my first level no. Now, some of my clients, they just want a discount, right? So naming no names. And so I'll say that approach. I'm really sorry, I can't commit to that because I've already given you the best possible price. I'd be happy to look at a volume-based discount on more runs of the program, or I can cut it back to fit the budget. What's best for you? And they say, we just want a discount. So then I have a second level no, sort of walk in, walk out. So my second level no is to say, repeat one of the alternatives. Well, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, as I said, because we've already put the best possible proposal together for you. I'd be happy to look at cutting some things out to make it a bit shorter and fit the budget. Or on this occasion, I can give you an introductory one-time 5% discount. What would be best for you? So I've got a sort of starting no with some alternatives that I would like, and I've got a second level no, which gives a little bit, and that can also work well. We call it a walk in and walk out no. And actually, with the particular organisation I'm thinking about, that always works. So, and they always want the 5%, and I kind of know that. So we play the little game. Anyway, the refined opportunity is to have what we call the walk in and walk out. So on a second level, there's something you're prepared to give a little bit of. And so but you don't offer that straight away. You offer that in the second time you say no. The trick with the alternatives is only offer the things you're prepared to offer and nothing else. And it's always good to have 2. Sometimes it requires a bit of creativity to come up with what is the second one. And you can usually find one, and giving 2 makes them feel like you have some choice. And then it doesn't matter because at the end, all you say is what's best for you or what else could work. And you're happy to have a discussion. You're happy to be helpful. If you get them talking about what else can work, the no is in the bag. That's the master key here. That's the real secret. If there are situations where you regularly have to push back, I'd encourage you to kind of pre-write your no's. If you're testing this, it can work really well in an email because you can take your time to structure the responses. So an email pushback can be a great way of safely experimenting with this further. Just remember those 4 key steps. Keep it simple, be empathetic as well, be helpful, and say no nicely.